Hey y'all, it's nice to see y'all this week. This week we're actually going to be doing a few different things. We're going to be starting a new unit. We're going to be learning about non-Western music. So everything that you think you know about music is about to change just a little bit. But first, I want to see how much you guys already know already because I know you're super smart. So we're actually going to do a Kahoot, alright? So I need you to pull up Kahoot on your phone or on your computer. I don't care which one you use as long as you pull it up. And then I'm going to give you the game pin, alright? So the game pin is, whenever you're ready, is 2357720. And I'll repeat that one more time. It's 2357720. And I'll be able to see you guys' names when they pop up on the screen. Please use your actual name so I know it's you. Thanks, guys. There's one. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm clicking start. I'll read the questions off for you, alright? Question 1. Which is not a non-Western idiophone? Is it red, sitar, blue, the kabasa, yellow, the afaxe, or green, the kamanak? Alrighty. Our second question is, what is a raga? Is it red, a type of Indian music, blue, a type of non-Western instrument, yellow, a way of classifying pitches, or green, a type of non-Western dance? Alrighty. You guys are, it's okay if you're not getting the right answers right now. This is just to see what you do know because we're going to learn about this. So here's our third question. What genres are similar in non-Western music to Western styles? Is it red, folk music, blue, religious music, C, township music, or yellow, township music, or green, all of the above? We got one more person to answer. Alrighty. Good job, Allie. You guys are doing so good. What is a non-Western element that was employed in the classical style by one of the composers we learned about? Was it red? The composer is Debussy, and he used ragas instead of Western scales. Is it blue? Stravinsky was the composer, and he used Hungarian folk modes for pitch. Is it yellow? Bartók is the composer, and he used primitivism. Or is it green? Bartók is the composer, and he used Hungarian folk music practices. Alrighty. Good job on that one, Rachel. And for our last question, it's true or false? Throat singing uses the same techniques as Western classical style. True or false? Alrighty, good job on that last one, guys. So it looks like Allison, you won, and Rachel, you got second, but you guys both did really well, so I'm really impressed with you guys. So actually, first, we're actually going to look over, as we know, our Western classical instruments, as you can see them perfectly on the screen here. What are our instrument families, in our orchestra especially, but what are our instrument families in Western music in general? Well, first we have our percussion section. So in our percussion section, that's where normally we have drums. Within our orchestra itself, we have like our drums, our bass drums, snare drums. We can have timpanis. We can have the triangle. Basically, it's any instrument that to make sound is struck, is rubbed against, anything like that. Like our piano would even be considered a percussion instrument. Then we have our brass section. In our brass section, you can see it on the screen, we've got our harp. Apologies, our harp is not in the brass section. In our brass section, we have our French horns, our trumpets, our trombones, our baritones, just anything that falls in that category. If it has a mouthpiece, like a trumpet or a horn, that's a brass. The brass family is made of brass, those instruments are. And the way that you play them is as you're blowing air, your lips are pressed against your mouthpiece and they buzz against it, and that's the vibration that produces the sound. And then we also have our woodwind section. Our most popular woodwinds are our clarinets, our bassoons, our piccolos and flutes, and our oboes. And if you look at all of those closely, you'll see that they're all basically long tubes that you blow your air through. Most of them have a reed on them. A reed is a piece of wood that is pressed against the mouthpiece, and the vibration of the wood against the mouthpiece when you blow air on them is what creates the sound there for those that have a reed. Or in the case of the oboe and the bassoon, it's two reeds against each other as the mouthpiece, and it's the wood vibrating against each other when you blow through them. And for the piccolo and flutes, it's actually just the air itself. You'll notice they all have keys on them that they push down that cover holes, and that's what changes the pitches on it. And in our last section, we have our string section. So that includes our harp, our violins, our violas, our cellos, and our double basses. You'll notice for those, they're all made of wood, that they all have string on them, and you'll see that they have bows next to them on the screen for many of them. And how you actually play string instruments, you can use that bow to strum them or to bow across them like this. You can also use your fingers to strum them or to pluck at them. So now that we've covered our Western instruments, we're actually going to look at several non-Western instruments today. So first we have several non-Western percussion instruments. A certain type of percussion is called an idiophone. Idiophones don't need anything else to play them. Like with regular drums that we're used to, they have sticks that bang against it that make the noise. With idiophones, you don't actually need those. So like the first one on the screen, the aphoxe is actually just a big empty kind of gourd, and it has beads connected to the outside of it that are like tied around it, and you shake it like this, and those beads rubbing against it and clattering against it is actually what makes the noise. We also have the cabasa, and I have a cabasa right here. This is what they look like. And we have maracas. You guys have probably played maracas before. Those are very popular. That's a very popular non-Western instrument. So some traits of the idiophones, like I said, for the aphoxe already, for an idiophone, they can be clashing together. So there are, like we've played wood sticks before. Wood sticks would be an idiophone because you bang them together for the noise that they make. We do have non-Western idiophones that are played like that. We do have, like on our cabasa, if you rub it, that's what makes it sound, but you can also shake them. And there are some that you actually scrape with a stick, and that's part of the instrument, and you would scrape it to make the noise. And these are all, like I said, considered percussion instruments. We also have string instruments. These would fit into the same category as our string instruments on the Western side. So we have 4 on screen. We have a tambura, a sitar, an erhu, and a pipa. The tambura and the sitar are both from India, but the tambura can also be found in Polynesia. And the erhu and the pipa are from China. You'll notice again that they all have strings on them. You can, whether you can see them super well or not, I'm not sure. And you'll notice the way that they can be played, he's strumming with his fingers, she's plucking with her fingers, and she's using a bow on them. And with a sitar, you would normally strum or pluck at it, mostly. The same that you can a violin, a guitar, any of those. Even though the sitar doesn't sound like our regular string instruments. The sitar itself sounds a lot like any kind of electronic instrument. But the erhu itself sounds incredibly similar to a violin or a viola as well. The tambura sounds like a mixture between an electronic device and a violin, and the pipa is similar in that regard as well. So like I said, they can be played by plucking them, which you just grab at the string and pull it and let go and release it, and that would create that sound. Bowing it, you would have your bow and you would be strumming across it like this, or you can strum it with your fingers, kind of like you would a guitar. You strum across it, or you can strum down. So I do have some questions for you guys. So the first question is, which type of non-Western instrument is this? Remember, I showed you this on screen. So you have the option of, is it a type of idiophone? Is it a sitar? Is it an erhu? Or is it a string instrument? So it's actually a type of idiophone. Remember, I said that idiophones can be shaken. They can be rubbed. They can be struck against, or you can bang them against each other. But this one's only played by rubbing or shaking. We also have a question. Can you play, true or false, can you play any non-Western idiophone by shaking, plucking, hitting, or rubbing? That one's actually a bit of a trick question for you guys because most of that answer is correct. You can play it by shaking, by hitting, or by rubbing, but you cannot pluck them. Remember, to be able to pluck something, it has to have strings on it. I can't pluck this. So it would be false. And I've got only one or two more questions for you guys, but you guys are doing so well. So which one of these would be a non-Western string instrument? So would it be a mandolin? Would it be a guitar? Yes or no? Would it be the sitar? Or would it be the cello? So we know that it wouldn't be the cello or the guitar because we know that those are both Western string instruments that we've used before. The mandolin is also a Western string instrument. That's an older version of Western string instruments. So the answer is the sitar. Remember that that is the one that I said sounds kind of electronic, sounds very electronic. And the last question I have for you guys is, what is a way of playing a non-Western string instrument? Do you shake them? Do you pluck them? Do you rub them, or do you clash them? Correct, it would be plucking. The other three are exactly how you would play an idiophone. Shaking or rubbing. Alright guys, now that we know some of these instruments, I've got some for you and I've laid them out for you. I'm going to use my kibasa and I'm going to ask you guys, remember when we talked about form last week, we said we can use any symbols that can represent what we want and we can make them into a form. This is in an ABA format. Remember we talked about this last week. So how we would play this. For example, my stars represent triplets and my squares there represent eighth notes. So if I was playing this form, it would be triplet, 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 triplet. And then I would go to my eighth notes, and that would be the B part of my form, and it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I would have, again, go back to my same section. I rewrote it down there for you guys. A form, triplet, 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 triplet. Now it's y'all's turn. You can use any symbols you want. Make sure that you know what symbol stands for what. And I'm ready to see what you guys come up with. Remember that ABA form means that you have two different sections and then it repeats back to the first section, but it is generally written out a lot again. So you guys are writing your own. So let me show you mine again. It would be triplet, 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 and I actually have a repeat symbol here, so it would be, again, triplet, 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 and then I have my eighth notes, so it would be 1 and 2 and I actually have a rest there, so 3 and 4 and I have another repeat, so it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I go back to my A section. That's why it's the same down here at the bottom. So it would be triplet, 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 triplet. I'm really excited to see y'all's. Remember to fill out those graphic organizers that I sent to you. You can fill them out on the instruments in this Kahoot and just fill them out with some of the traits of them. Make sure that you write the name on each part and then some of the traits that were listed. Alrighty, y'all. I will see you next week.